Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Dr. Ruth Anderson here with Enlightened World Network. It is my absolute honor and pleasure to be here today with Sue Broome. And Sue, I love Sue. We come on once a month, although we did take last month off, and we key into messages from your loved ones. And we're so excited to have you all here. So what Sue does is when you share with us the name of somebody you would like to hear from, then Sue will go through, she sort of sorts them, kind of waits for them to choose themselves. And she then chooses a card and there's a message from your loved one. And then we talk about it a little bit. So if you would like to receive a message from your loved one, please put the name of your loved one and the relationship, that's helpful, in the chat here on Facebook. And then we'll pay some attention to you and that. So welcome, everybody. And Sue, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Miss Ruth. It's been so long. I've been so excited. And this morning I'm calling in, clearing the energy and calling in the angels and calling in everybody's loved ones, because it's like, yeah, today's the day. We haven't done this in a long time. So, and you can hear the chimes going like crazy.
I missed your chimes.
So get this, I do a blog, and I've done a blog for a long time, and then I do a newsletter to send out the blog. And what I typically do is I will pull in an old quote from one of my past blogs, and then I have the link, and I just pull just a little snippet. And I'm always guided. Sometimes I don't even read through the whole thing. I read through part of it. It's like, yep, this sounds perfect. Okay, it goes on there. And I always receive my newsletter also. So I always like to open it. I know I'm so weird. And I read through the quote. Okay, so get this. This was the quote. Some may feel their connection to their loved one's ends when one transitions and passes from what you call death. The accurate part of the statement is that the physical body does die, and yet the spirit, the soul, the essence of your loved one is still very much alive. That was from the angels. And get this, and I'm getting major chills. That blog was from 12621, which is January 26th of 1921. 126, December 6th is my brother Chris's birthday.
Oh, I just got chills on that one.
I'm still getting chills. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize not only the full meaning and weight of that quote, and then my brother Chris. It's like,
amazing.
How perfect.
That is. That's perfect. Well, we've got some folks right off the bat.
Yay.
Yay. Tanya Thon is hoping to hear from her mother, Joyce Enright.
How does she spell Tanya?
Tanya.
Okay.
And Thon, Thon.
See, calling in all the loved ones. As half the deck flips over. Okay, they're excited. Not only because it is February 14th, I think, even though it's kind of a made up day, but
it's a Hallmark holiday.
It is.
Yeah.
And yet it is one of those days that people, the essence of love is so strong, and not just for people that are here, but for people on the other side. So it's perfect. All right, so time. Okay, Ruth, they're really, really excited.
They're flying across the room.
Hang on, bear with me. Because half the deck literally half the deck just fell. Either that or maybe it's me that's so excited, but I don't think it. All right, I'm holding them over my over. All right. And that one, I don't know if you saw that one, but that one flipped. It flipped up and then landed on the desk. Okay. So Tanya, apparently your mom is really excited too. Oh, okay. Oh, there is a healing of our hearts. My gosh, that is so perfect. Whew. So, one of the some people feel that when their loved one crosses, that they can't heal things that they feel are left unsaid, undone. And you truly can still heal things, mend things, say things when your loved one is on the other side. And this feels like there's been so much healing, both, I feel like as she was getting closer to crossing, but also after the fact. And it feels like it's just through different things that you've done, Tanya, as you've talked with her, as you've shared things with her, as you've connected with her once she's been on the other side, and it truly is more of a true heart connection, because they're not here physically. So I feel like the heart connection strengthens. So, oh wow, this is absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And your chimes are just going crazy.
They are.
I love that. So explain your chimes for just a minute, if anybody's new to us.
So I call them my magical chimes. So they're solar chimes. So when the sun is coming in, yes, they're going to go off. However, they will also go off like crazy. They have been quiet until I go online. That's when I go online to do angel card readings, when I come online with Ruth, when I come online to do a meditation, they start getting very active. There's not light shining directly on them. And if you listen to when they go off, they are very vocal at the right times. Even yesterday, one of the cards I drew was Hear the Chimes. And as soon as I showed that card, they stopped chiming. So, and as soon as I started talking about it, they started chiming.
That's so funny.
So
funny.
They know. It's like spirit knows. The angels are just going,
look at me, look at me. Okay, I do want to show you something. We'll see if it'll play well. Okay. And what I got, so I don't think that it was just a fluke that those cards started flying when you were open to Joyce. So Tanya, she says, I'm in tears of joy. You are absolutely spot on. A lot of healing has happened since my mom's passing. We are closer now than we have ever been. Thank you so much. Oh,
thank you. So beautiful. Thank you, Tanya. That is beautiful.
So, but Tanya, what I was getting with your mom is this, I almost sort of want to say under the table, not sneaky, but sort of unsuspecting sense of humor. Like there's this, it's subtle, but there's this zing of humor that I'm getting from your mom. And so when the cards started flying, it was like, I get it. It was kind of subtle, but it's there. So I would be curious to know, Tanya, did your mom in this sense of humor? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, and it's even funny because as you're saying that, it's almost like her spirit was here going, flicking the cards,
Yeah.
Watch this. Look what I can do. And it's 11:22.
says that was her. Yeah. That,
That is so
and you know what, Tanya? That is her. It still is her. Isn't that fun? I love that.
Yes, I love this. This goes really well with your background today, Miss Ruth.
Yes, it does. Yes, it's like I dressed for you. Tanya says I could most definitely see her doing that.
That's funny.
I do love that. You know, the elements that make us who we are, those pieces of our soul, that continues. That's part of who she is. You know, I love that. Good morning, Isabel. I got a card from you in the mail the other day, Isabel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's come up and see who's next. Peggy Twig was here, can't stay, but she wants to come back and try again soon. Jean Walensky wants to hear from Rochelle, her dear, smart Alec friend.
Your dear smart what friend?
Smart Alec.
Oh, smart Alec.
I love it.
Oh, that's
The
funny.
feeling Rochelle is shaking things up wherever she
Okay,
is.
so I'm turning, so the cards are really over. I don't think I've ever dropped that many cards as I'm doing a live.
So, Jean, I just want to say, while Sue is pulling up the card for Rochelle, the reason that Rochelle was such a smart alecky friend is because Rochelle was so smart. I'm just getting that coming through. She was so intelligent that kind of how she dealt with like the mundanity and the stupidity of the rest of us in the world around her was with the smart alecky. So I'll be curious to know if she was as smart as she's coming across in spirit.
You know, and that's interesting because even what I heard was as you were saying that is like, that was also a way for her to downplay herself, her aptitude on things because she wanted to try to fit in. All right. I will sing you a song. I feel like there's kind of the word I'm hearing is malarkey. Isn't that like, is that smarty pants kind of thing, malarkey?
Like if you're saying, oh, that's malarkey, like you're making that up. Oh, that's silly. Oh, that's crazy. Kind of.
There's something with and it feels like it feels like the song is more kind of coming from a bird, but malarkey is coming. So I don't think there's a kind of bird called malarkey, but it feels like there's some kind of a bird that you're going to hear that's going to make you think of her, and I feel like it's going to be something that it's going to take you back a long ways. It's like the other day I was over at the neighbor's, and so she's 20 years older than me. And we were talking, I said, yeah, you know, did you ever hear the song, May the Bird of Paradise Fly Up Your Nose? She said, no. And I said, it was a song my dad would always sing to us. And it feels like it's something like that's going to make you think, oh my gosh. So I don't know. That's what.
Yeah, Rochelle, as I said, and I just have to tell you that Jean said, ah, ha, 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 ha. So she's like, yeah. She's getting it. I really get the feeling that Rochelle is such a large presence that truly wherever she is right now, she's making herself known. She's shaking things up. She's a mover and a shaker. I like that. She's taken up her space in the world.
Yeah.
Very cool. Smart Alec. That's fun. Okay. Jasmine Ombrar says, I would love a message from my aunt. We'll do both. I think we'll have time, Jasmine. We're going to start with Aunt Sonia.
All right. I'm continuing to hold the cards over the keyboard. Yes. Yeah, it's heating up in here too. My cheeks are getting rosier. Oops, it is. She almost flipped the deck too. Today must be a deck flipping day.
As of deck flipping day.
Be in this present moment. Oh, I love this. You know, one of the things that really does help us connect is when we get into this present moment and take a few breaths. And I always, for some reason, my hand always goes to my chest. Take a few deep breaths and just really connect into this present moment. And when we are in this present moment, it is like our hearts open up, and I'm seeing like even like a rose opening up. It's like our hearts open up to the connection, and it strengthens the connection when we are in this present moment, because it allows us to quiet all the outside world and truly connect at the heart level. And that's what being in this present moment, then you're not worried about, tomorrow or yesterday or anything. It's just, you're able to connect into this present moment and be with your aunt, be with your loved one, be in this moment with them and the love connection that you have.
There, when you said rose, I went, yes, but wrong flower. What I was seeing was purple, like different purples, like lilac-y purple and deeper purple, and absolutely flowers. And so I was thinking, gosh, are we thinking like gardening? But it was different. It was like her essence was, and I'm getting a lot of smells and like flower smells. And it's not that she was sweet, she was rich and she was multi-layered. I don't know, it's beautiful energy with her, at least on a spirit level. Don't know who she was in person, but a lot of fragrance coming through. Oh, well, wait. Oh, Jean said, perfect perfume, joy, sparkles. Cool. Okay. But we were actually talking to Jasmine. Jasmine, if you're on, I would love to hear about Aunt Sonia, because there's really something there with purple and flowers and smells, scents.
And the rose that I was seeing, it wasn't pink, it wasn't red, it wasn't white, it was a very light lavender.
Yeah.
Which is not a typical rose, but it was much lighter than I used to have. I had lilacs on every single corner of my house in Madison. It was much lighter than that. So
yeah,
that's interesting.
Interesting. The purple coming through.
Wearing purple. Oh,
surprise.
Surprise. Purple. Oh, surprise. Oh, purple, surprise.
If Sue's on, there's purple somewhere. Okay, so let's stay with Jasmine and let's key into Jasmine's dad.
Dad. My dad, he's so sneaky. He shows up in the most interesting ways. I love the numbers, and 338 or 312 is when I notice him. And there's times, even if I'm liking something, I'll see the number, like, how many likes are there before you?
Mm-hmm.
So the numbers show up in such interesting ways.
That's so cool. Jasmine's dad.
Jasmine's dad.
He's smiling already. So there's really cool energy there.
And I'm seeing an image of my dad really young. So I don't know if her dad died when he was really young. But this is my dad he was young when he passed, but this is a much younger picture of him. Oh, Isn't this the same card? There's a healing of our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
So, excuse me, I love it when the same card comes up again because it emphasizes the energy of the card for the second person that is receiving it.
Right.
And it's like, and even everybody else that's watching this, pay attention to the words of this card and the feeling and the essence that goes into it. Because there is truly so much healing that happens, that can happen if we're open to it. My connection with my dad, and it feels like it's there's something about this that connects with Jasmine's dad, is I did have a strong connection with my dad before he passed, and it has strengthened since he's passed.
Mhm.
I love that. I just love that. I understand him so much better and than when he was here. So
A lot of healing takes place even in our sleep through dreams and that kind of thing with some of our loved ones. It's you aren't the same person spiritually right now as you were the moment he died. You have been worked on and healed and that kind of thing. They do work with us all the time.
yeah, they absolutely do. Yeah.
Very cool. So Jasmine says, yes, it's very, very true for my dad and myself. Thank you. He communicates with me often. And Jasmine, what I immediately saw with your dad, he came in smiling. And I don't know if he was as lighthearted in body as he is in spirit, but he's absolutely happy and in a good place and loving you from where he is. So I'll be curious to know, was that in this lifetime in spirit or in body as well, or simply in spirit? Interesting. Tanya said lilacs were my mom's favorite. I think there is a lot of overlap between what we're getting for different folks on this one. So like, Sue, you're hearing messages. I got a message. I'm going to grab my dog in just one second. Tanya's getting messages from different ones. Yeah, lovely. Jasmine said, how lovely. I think he is smiling more now. God bless him. Yeah.
Okay, so two things.
Let me grab the dog while you're doing
it. Two things. So my house in Madison, I had Miss Kim lilacs. So they're miniature lilacs on each corner of my house, and they were a light lavender. Then I had a much larger, the regular size, dark lavender purple that was about this color that I had in my backyard. Hi, puppy.
This is Maddie.
Well, that's one thing, because I love lavender. Just before I moved, it was finally to the point where in the spring I could open the windows and I could smell lilac from every single area of my house. The other thing, the image that I saw of my dad. So my dad was a real smart aleck. And the image that he was much younger. I mean, he was probably even a teen, maybe early 20s. But the tilt of his head and the image of his face was like he was up to no good. So I just had to say that.
I believe that to be true.
But somehow it pertains to, but and here's the other thing is everybody that's on here today, when we come together, each individual is asking for a message, but we're drawn together for a reason. So there's a heart connection that's going on right now among all of us that are watching this.
Yeah, I definitely feel that today. It feels like we're sitting around enjoying each other in the morning, just like over breakfast or something.
Right.
I'm enjoying that very much. Isabel Reese would love to hear from her sister, Teresa Muga, Mouga. Her birthday was on the 9th. It's her month.
What was her sister's first name?
Teresa.
Teresa?
And let me see. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I have to let this little one out.
Oh, puppies, puppies. Let's see. Sister Teresa. Oh, feel my presence.
Mm.
Again, my hand automatically just goes to my chest area, my heart, my high heart. There's one of the things I think, especially after someone just recently has passed, there may be so much grief that people have a more difficult time feeling the connection from their loved one and feeling my presence. When you get going back to the present moment that we had earlier, it's when you can quiet yourself and get truly into feeling the love. And part of the way that you can do that to help feel the presence of your loved one is going into a memory, going into a beautiful memory that you have had with your sister. And before I pulled the card, the image I saw is two little girls holding hands, almost like, they're walking the beach or going for a walk in their Sunday best, because I only see them from the back, but holding hands because, yeah, you're sisters, but you're also best friends. So there's some happy, super happy memory that you have, that going into that memory and adding as many senses, whether it's sounds or sense or, the temperature of the air, add as many senses as you possibly can. And you definitely will feel the connection, the presence of your loved one, in this case, your sister.
So what was so interesting with me, Isabel, was as soon as her energy came in, it was very heavy, very, very heavy. And then with your words, Sue, about feeling the presence, it was like, I can't not feel the presence because it's just so heavy. And I don't know if that heaviness, Isabel, is how that grief feels to you, where it's just so heavy, so all consuming, like, how can I possibly enjoy life because she's not here? But then as Sue was talking, that heaviness started to lift. And so, Sue, can we help Isabel come up with some other ways when she feels that heaviness, that heavy, heavy grief and sorrow, for her to transmute that to the joy in the memories, rather than the heaviness of the grief? Because I'm not sure it was Teresa's heaviness. I think it was the heaviness of the grief. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I totally, what I initially said matches exactly what you're saying, because, okay, so what you're asking is how to transmute initially. And part of that truly is allowing yourself to feel the grief. People do not want to feel grief because it's like, oh no, it'll never go away. And that's really, it will, I mean, grief will always be there in different levels, and things will come up. It might be, might be 50 years since your mom passed, and something will still, set you off to start crying. Allow yourself to feel that, because the heaviness, think about, if you're trying to hold back tears, it's much more difficult than if you allow them to flow. It's not any different than, okay, I'm going to hold back this river. Oh, it feels heavy.
Yeah.
But now I'm going to allow myself to allow it to flow. So first, absolutely, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to scream, allow yourself to get angry if you want, allow yourself to stomp your feet, all of these things. Even if you're standing and you're jumping up and down, it's like, allow yourself to do that. And once that has flowed through, then go back and allow yourself to feel the connection, that love connection that's always there. And the reason the angels told me a long time ago, and this came from partly from the angels, partly from my mom, go into a memory, because that's something that we can connect with. And if there's no memories because I was so young, it's like, you know what? Make one up, because your mind doesn't know the difference. And that's why even putting as many senses into it makes it more real, makes it more in this present moment now.
Yes. Thank you. And Isabel says it does make sense. And she passed 36 years ago, which is probably why you saw them in younger form. But I do have special and beautiful memories from her, and I feel her warmth and hugs. And Isabel says, I thought I've done that. Guess I didn't finish that hurt yet. Thank you so much. You know, Isabel, it's like an onion. I don't think you can ever go, yep, I'm done. Check. I don't know that it ever works. There's just layers and layers and layers. But your sister is showing me that she comes to you in your dreams. And so if you wake up and you're feeling loved, or you feel like you've just had some fun, she's coming. She's with you. Mm-hmm. And she's not the age in spirit that she was when she died. And you aren't in spirit the age that you are now. You're whatever age you want to be at that moment. And I think when the two of you get together, I think you guys have a great time. So you're not done with her. You're not done with her.
So the other thing that I'm picking up is go into your past life connections. Because for me, my mom died when she was very young. So I was 13 when my mom passed. And when I was first learning to connect with her through writing, through, just getting in the present moment, there were also some past lives that her and I shared together. And that also strengthens, talking about the onion, that strengthens the love connection, but it also may add to the grief connection, because maybe there was a past life that you haven't allowed yourself to grieve yet. And you can do that as well, because, we call them past lives, but think of right now, this present moment, this is all there is. So all of these other lifetimes are all happening simultaneously. It's where we put our focus.
Yeah.
So allow yourself to grieve other connections, other lifetimes that you had with your sister as well. That's just another layer of the onion.
Well, and I think that's why we miss some people so much more, because we have known them in other ways and love them in those other ways. And so when they leave us again, it just feels so bad. Yeah, I get that. Jasmine says, I pray that all my folks in the spirit world are rocking it and are safe, protected, and blessed with all the joys of life and afterlife.
That's beautiful.
I believe they are, Jasmine. Let's see. And Tanya is hoping for a connection to her husband's grandmother, Laverne Bergeron. I don't think it's Bergeron. I'm going French. Laverne Bergeron, Bergeron.
So grandma-in-law.
It's a grandma-in-law. I'm curious, Tanya, if you got to meet her, because that goes pretty far back. Unless your families were having kids at 16, you may not have even met her. Unless you and your husband go that far back.
I'm seeing an older photograph too. You know, like an old black and white photo. Of grandma. Come on, Grandma. I know you're here. Oh. Yeah, she's taking her sweet time. I don't know if she was like that, you know.
No, she's not anybody's, she's not a typical grandma. Tanya said she never met her, unfortunately.
All right, there she is.
Jean is going
out.
Jean is going with French Canadian. Oh,
That
could be.
like that. Okay. I live forever in your heart. Absolutely. Yeah, there's I don't know if you've heard stories about her, if that's because I feel like there is some connection that you have with her that you might feel as people are sharing stories. And it's interesting because this truly okay, I just have to share this. There was a woman that I had, her daughter had me come in and do a healing session on her mother who was in hospice. And her mother was unconscious. And it was the daughter that was there and the sister of the woman in the bed and then her boyfriend. And we were sharing, they were sharing stories about her and they were all laughing. That's the part that allows and helps people to live forever, is the sharing of the stories. And so I feel like the Grandma Laverne.
Grandma Laverne.
There's the living forever in your heart, even though you may not have ever met her. You've either seen pictures of her or you've heard so many stories that there's like, you feel like you know her. There's some connection, and maybe the two of you had a past life together, but there's some connection that you're feeling because of that. So the living forever in your heart is absolutely where people live.
So Grandma Laverne, the first thing that I saw, an old English teacup with all kinds of little intricate flowers, like yellows and pinks and purples. Really, I know you've seen them. I know you've seen them, but really, really intricate, tiny little flowers. And it looks so delicate, but Laverne's energy is not so delicate. She's big in spirit, and she's got this like raucous laugh. I mean, like when Laverne's in the room, everybody knows Laverne is in the room. So it's just kind of funny that I would see this diminutive cup when that's not how she's coming across. So I was trying to figure out, so why was I seeing that? Why was I seeing that little cup? What do you know? Tanya, tell us. It's so unusual that somebody would come up with an in-law's grandmother who they haven't met. You know what I mean? So Tanya, if you're on with us, just take a second and write some notes. What makes you curious about Grandma Laverne?
It's funny because as you were talking about the cup, I saw like cooking, not in it, almost like an Italian, you know, mom cooking at the stove. in a big pot. So I don't know if she was, because I saw her from the back, but it was a huge pot.
Yeah.
That she was cooking.
Yeah, it takes up a lot of space. Tanya says she was a very good cook, very in big letters. She was very ladylike, but don't mess with her firecracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, she takes up some space. She had a huge gumbo pot.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Funny.
Love that. I want to share with you one thing before we go, besides Miss Maddie, who's coming up. Let me see if I can pull up a photo that I want to share with you. It's going to be kind of funny to share it with you. So for those of you who don't know, we lost our home, I don't know, 5-6 weeks ago now, in a fire that took out 1,000 homes in our community. And we lost our home. And I had only been to the site once. I can't even call it my house. I don't, because it's a site. It's a hole in the ground full of steel rubble. And I'd only been there once. And I had not started on the inventory for the insurance company because, you know, they want to see everything you thought was in there, which take pictures, folks, because you can't do it afterwards. It doesn't work well. But it was painful for me. And there was many things in our house that I didn't care about, right? I mean, I didn't, but there were some things that I did care about. And it was really feeling too painful for me to kind of put myself into it. And I went into meditation, and Divine Mother came and took me by the hand and took me room to room in my mind's eye in my home. And most rooms I would walk in and go, yeah, there's nothing here. That's fine. But there were a couple things that just kind of like a dagger to the heart. And one of them in particular was my mother's china. My mom passed, I don't know, Sue, what was it? Well, I guess it was just last year.
It was under 3 years because I was living in this house.
Yeah. I guess it was a year ago, November. Yeah. And so my mom's china, that was a tough one for me. So a couple days later, we went with the insurance adjuster to the home, and I walked around one of the corners. I mean, I'm looking at bent steel rebar because it was 2,000 degrees. I mean, everything is gone. Even the steel rebar is screwed up, right? And turned the corner, and I hope you can see this. How do I get it?
So put your hand behind it, or put it right in. Oh, look at
That is my mother's water pitcher.
That's so beautiful.
How did that survive?
That was your mom going, I'm protecting this for Ruth.
I know. And now bring it up, because everything on top of it was like the roof and everything that went down on. How did that survive on top of the rubble? That's crazy. But one thing, Sue, and I wanted to talk about was how things carry the energy and the emotions of that. And so for me, that's my mom saying, I got you. Mm-hmm. I got you. I didn't go anywhere. You didn't lose me. Mm-hmm. I'm right here. And the other thing Divine Mother had told me, because my dad would write poetry, and I was really sad that I did not have a copy of one of his poems. And Divine Mother said to me, it's written in your heart, or written on your heart. And I thought, yeah, it's true. It's written on my heart. But Sue, are there things from your parents that you have that symbolize them to you?
So I think the connection is more what we who are left here put on it. Mm-hmm. Because the only thing I have from my mom is her, it was, you know how people will buy a mother's ring for their wife with a birthstone of all the kids.
Yeah.
So I have that ring from my mom. And really that's it. Because I personally, I didn't care about any of, I have to have that because that's going to make me think of them. I have to have that. So I think it's more what we, but not only their energy, because if you look at that picture of your mom,
Mhm.
that picture, the picture of the picture, you look at what does it represent to you? Look at the times when you remember that being in use, so your mom made special lemonade, or she used it every single Sunday or every single Easter, every single family gathering. So to me, it's the energy of the family gathering, or it's the energy of the love that she put in to making the lemonade special on Sundays when it was hot, so I see it that way versus this represents my mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I get that.
But, and everybody's different, because that is important for you. Whereas, maybe your sister is like, oh, I'm glad it survived for you, but I don't care, who knows?
Yeah. But I really do love what Divine Mother said. It's written on your heart.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All of those things that
Mhm.
we hold dear, all those memories, it is written on your heart.
Yes. Because that's where it lives on forever.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, friends, we are out of time. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. What a great time. I absolutely loved this. Sue, all the best.
Fabulous. Thank you all, your loved ones.
So friends, thanks for being here. Sue and I come back once a month, and we will do this again next month. So if you want to join us, please do. Just be watching on the description of the shows for the days. But it's always the same day, Sue. It's always what?
March 14th is our next time, March 14th.
Okay. All right. Well, friends, we will see you there. So friends, thank you for being here. So much love to each and every one of you. Take care.